Welcome to Rap in Order, the interrogation of a hip-hop album, where we take some of the culture's most beloved hip-hop albums, put them on the stand, see if they stood the test of time. Now let's see who we got on the stand today.
Order in the court!
Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, man.
How was your weekend?
I had a good weekend, man. We had a weekend full of new music, so that made me really happy. I was really excited about that.
We did. We got some we got Bad Bunny,
Benito.
which I visited. I still don't understand what the fuck he's saying. I listen for the vibes.
Yeah,
But it
vibes.
was good. It was good. I wish it was a little shorter, but it's good. Who else? Westside Gunn drop.
We got Westside Gunn. It's supposed to be his last album.
Yeah, but then with that announcement, he said like, "Oh, this is my last album, but I'm gonna keep making music and I'm gonna put out EPs and I was like, all right,
So it's not your last.
like it's
yeah.
not your last album."
I think he just likes a lot of attention.
He does, and when he doesn't get it, he sends tweets.
Yeah.
Did you listen to the album?
Of course I did. I listened to Westside Gunn's album. I gave it 2 spins, but my man Offset had my whole weekend tied up.
Okay. So I listened to Offset. I listened to Westside. Westside's album didn't really do it for me.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it was the mixing, if it was like some of the collabs. That Ty Dolla $ign record is so cringe. So fucking cringe. It's like it's a love song, but like puts him in his bag that I just don't care to hear him in.
Kind of
And
nitpicking dogs.
am I?
Yeah.
How?
This was a really good project from Westside Gunn.
I don't think so. It's not a good project. Not that good of a project.
It was
It's
a
definitely
good
not
project.
better than Pray for Paris.
You got to think about it. He had production from Tay Keith, Mr. Green, Conductor, Miguel the Plug, the RZA.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I know who's on it, which makes it even more disappointing that I didn't like it. But I digress.
Let's talk
what
about
else?
Offset. I want to talk about Offset.
Oh yeah.
I want to talk about Offset.
Well, I know you like this album, so I'll let you start.
Oh, wow.
I'll let you start.
Damn. I think that Offset is going to be a major solo artist. I think he's only going to get better. I think that if he goes on a tour, like his tour is going to be like really, really dope and like detailed. And I think he's really showing that like he is a solo artist and that like, the Migos won't define his career. Quavo, I think Quavo is going to be the cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know everything's not about comparison and everything like that, but I'm drinking the Offset juice. Pause.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you paused that. But okay, so I wasn't saying that I didn't like the Offset album.
It sounded like it.
It left more to be desired for me,
It
which is a lot to say for an album that's 21 songs.
Bro, from Father of 4 till this project, the rollout was great. The visuals are amazing. Everything that he did as far as like dressing like Michael Jackson every day for a year straight, that was fire. Say My Grace is a really good song. And they just dropped a video for that, right?
It's good, yeah. And the joint that he dropped with
and Worth It with the Busta sample.
Yeah.
It's fire.
It's good.
Big Dog is fire. Finest Can Be with Lotto is dope. I also like Dope Boy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Some joints on here, but I don't know. I just did, and I gave this 2 spins. I don't know. So far, maybe I'll revisit it and I'll change my mind because that does happen. I think it is a step up from Father of 4, though.
It's a huge step up from Father of 4. Like I think on Father of 4, he was trying to like find his footing, and now we have him on this project. Set it off, and I think like he's coming to his own, and it's like obviously, unfortunately, like they lost Takeoff last year, right? But I think like him taking this year, like taking the time to be meticulous and like
To go
get
in
his
and change some
to
things.
go in and change some things, fine tune some shit, maybe get some sample clearances, whatever he had to do. I think it worked, and I'm ladies and gentlemen, I'm here for the Offset push. I think as a solo star, he's going to be big. I think he's going to be like. I don't think Justin Timberlake big though. I think like Jordan Knight, New Kids on the Block big. What?
Was there anybody
What?
else? Anybody else that you would compare him to?
Do you know how
Jordan
big
Knight
of
is
a deal Jordan Knight was?
I know, but like I guess I was thinking more like black. Do you see like another
Of a
trajectory to
person that went solo from a group that blew up?
Yeah.
I guess since you want to black it up, I'm just talking about people, Reg. I'm not here segregating everything like that. Like, we're all people out here, and you over here talking about black and white. I mean, if you want to talk about a group that broke up, I just think that typically,
Matter of you.
I just think that typically in most groups, like we go all the way back to like Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and
Okay.
and
See, that's what I'm talking about.
yeah, that's what we're talking about. But I don't think that he's going. You think he's going to be like Teddy Pendergrass big?
I feel like that's a solid comparison.
That's a solid
I
comparison.
think
You
that's
like
a
that?
solid comparison. I like that. I like that more than Jordan Knight.
All right, cool. I mean, if that's what suits you, do you think like okay, well that like I'm saying like like when Buster left Leaders of the New School,
Okay. Okay.
since
I
you
like that
want
too.
to since that satisfies since that serves you better.
Yeah. But okay, so I do want to see what Takeoff does. His wife is Cardi B.
Offset,
I said Takeoff.
yeah.
Rest in peace, Takeoff.
Hmm.
So I do want to see what Offset does. And this album, the rollout was great. I watched his GQ 10 Things You Can't Live Without. I've been in tune with the whole rollout.
All right.
I had.
Your initial, you didn't come off like you liked it. You just said you're gonna let me just,
Yeah, I wanted you to lead that because you've been talking about it all weekend.
I have,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
have.
So I
So
want
I'm
you to
gonna
lead.
let you talk about what I know what you want to talk about.
Okay.
Your man's dropped a single this weekend.
Oh yeah, Larry June. Larry June dropped a single. Yeah, yeah, with Cardo.
Hmm.
It's they won't give us a date, but how'd you feel about it?
It was good. I mean,
Yeah,
it was. I'm an OJ.
that was a layup. That was
Yeah,
a layup. That was
that
easy
was.
for them.
Yeah, that was tight.
You got some cowbell, you got a bass knob. That's all you need. He talking about orange juice, eating healthy, riding his bike, fixing his tire on his bike.
Yeah.
Regular Larry June shit. You know.
Also, I've been listening. Have you been listening to Earl Sweatshirt and Alchemist?
Oh yes, I have.
How you pronounce that?
The name of the album.
Yeah.
You got me.
Vior de Dier. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you got me. But
I enjoy the fuck out of it.
yeah, it's about 27 minutes, short and sweet. I listened to it after I listened to the Drake album, and it was like a more digestible listen, in my opinion, because it's not such a long project.
Hmm.
Straight to the point. Some tracks are even 2 minutes long. I like shit like that, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I believe this is the project that Alchemist said that him and Earl secretly put on YouTube, with like
Yeah,
under a
years
different
ago.
name, and nobody could find it.
Hmm. Years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
I wish he would reveal where it is or what he named it.
yeah. I would like that too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that. Come on, man! Don't be calling us like idiots,
Yeah.
not figuring
pretty
that
much.
out. Like, come on, just
Just
spill
leave
it,
it
spill
at
it.
the top
Tell
of the
us.
They won't get it.
And obviously, Drake dropped,
Hmm.
and he's projected to sell 400,000 copies.
Yes, I think the official word is that he sold 402,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um. Uh.
not surprised for the boy.
Um. We're gonna get more in depth about the Drake album on another episode. But did you like it?
I liked a good amount of it. I think with Drake albums lately, Drake projects, whatever you want to call them, um, what happens is I'll listen and I'm like, whatever, whatever. And then I'll go back and I'll look at it and look at the tracks and be like, well, I do like this song. I like this song. Damn, this song's good too. So like that's just what's been happening with his stuff lately. Where like I listen in a moment and I don't really care that much.
Hmm.
Then I go back and I realize 4 or 5 of these ended up on my playlist somewhere.
I'll just say this. this was the weakest opener that he's had on a project, not even an album, on a project, and that's my like that already gives me a hard time enjoying this album because every Drake project that I've heard since I've become a fan of Drake. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am a fan. I am a sad boy, but it just the opener just Virginia Beach, it just didn't do anything for me, and I was just confused. Like, okay, this was definitely Yachty and Kevin Durant's fault, but let's just let's just move on.
I think from I don't know, man. I don't know what his affiliation with Yachty is. This whole force bestie thing that they doing.
I mean, I get it. Like, since Yachty's come out, he's been called like the king of the teens, and he's no longer a teenager.
Yeah.
He's kind of like
now that kind of makes it a creepy name. It's no longer a teenager.
Well, I don't think they call him that anymore. But when he initially came out, that's what he was called, king of the teens. And I think now a lot of people look at Yachty as being ahead of the curve when it comes to taste and sound, or just people, or like him just knowing who's cool or whatever like that. Like it's kind of like, all right, don't kill me because I'm not saying that it's accurate. But the way that he's being looked at is the way that Yams was looked at years ago. Well, if Yams gave you the stamp, you were cool. I'm just saying, like, that's how Yachty's being treated. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much everybody kind of like, yo, Yachty, come listen to my project. Yo, Yachty, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what Yams was A&R and a lot of shit, and Yams was getting a lot of people help, and he had like an ear, and a lot of people want Yachty in their sessions. Which is, I mean,
well, it's a generational thing.
Yeah, like he's tapped in because
Yachty's tapped in, but then you can look at it from the perspective of being on both sides. Like, we've experienced both sides, and one side is lagging a lot more than the other side because we've seen what the quality that Yams has been attached to, and I don't think Yachty's been attached to the same type of quality over the years. He doesn't have a resume that speaks to what Yams has done. It still remains to be seen. I don't think it's still too early. Because it's like it's a tastemaker type thing, right?
So okay. All right, now I have to give pushback. What amazing project did Yams have his fingertips on?
Well, I think you got Cozy Tapes. You got the whole first era of Rocky. That's enough right there.
Ferg's first album wasn't that good.
What? Oh, Rocky's first album?
Ferg.
Oh, Ferg's first album.
Ferg's first album wasn't that good. Rocky's first album was okay. The last project that Yams worked with Rocky, I really enjoyed. The Cozy Tapes was cool. Like, I think Yams had a good eye to discover talent. I don't know, and I think, he picked like a couple singles here and there, but I don't think like Yams, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody could correct me, but to my knowledge.
And even if Ferg's first album wasn't that good, you had Shabba Ranks on there, and you had...
Yeah, those are some good songs. So what I'm saying is that what I'm just saying is like Yachty is on the same path.
Yeah.
You just don't want to give him that because everybody say that he's Mace's son. You're just hating on Lil Yachty.
You actually the one that say that. Which is crazy. But anyway, I digress. The artist that we're gonna get into today, pause. The artist whose album we're visiting today is IDK. He's an artist that I feel is super slept on, that continues to like up the ante on his work and put out consistent projects and conceptual projects. This album that he came out with is his fourth. But technically, it's
he says it's his
10th.
It's 10th.
Yeah, he says it's his 10th because he's put out other projects since, or before this rather, and it came out earlier this year. I don't know what it is with IDK, but like his story is so compelling to me. He's been through a lot, professionally and personally, and he shares that in his music. But I think if he shared it even more, like it'll make him more compelling to the public. And I think that's not what he wants to do. He kind of just wants the music to speak for itself, and I don't blame him for that. But he comes out with really solid projects, solid visuals, and he's creative as hell. And you could tell that he's inspired by Kanye and Kendrick, and those are his era. Like he's in his early 30s. Um, and I think it speaks to that. What did you think of this project?
Well,
Had you heard this project before?
no, I didn't. First off, I thought JIDK and IDK were two different people.
Mm. Yeah, he started out being called JIDK.
So when Regg all right, I gotta take this back. Last year I went to Oregon to visit our friend Rob. Everybody, you guys know Rob. And he works for Nike, and they have something called the Nike Ball. IDK was their special guest performing, but because they kept saying IDK, and like I never paid attention to see what this kid looks like, I didn't know that he was JIDK, right? So I was like, yo, this guy's like a new artist. Like, what's up with him? Asking the questions. And everybody's like, oh, he's been out for that long. And I'm just like, I've never heard of him. And then like they're like telling me, they're like, yo, he's from the DMV. I'm like, word, I wonder how that works. Like, there's another kid from the DMV and his name is JIDK. And they were like, that's him. And I was like, oh, he just dropped the J? I was like, why you dropped the J? You know, like the J works. Mm-hmm. But then like I actually got to like meet him with Rob, and he was like really cool and everything like that. But fast forward to now, Regg said that he wanted to do this project. So I listened to it, and he's grown a lot since I first was introduced to him. When I first heard him, I heard Subtrap and Empty Bank, and I Was Very Bad. Mm-hmm. So, and he was still going under JIDK at that time. Yeah. So that's why like I was familiar with him, but I just didn't know that he dropped the J, right? But I listened to this project and I was very like impressed because like he's like grown by like leaps and bounds, like even with the sound. Obviously now, you know, those projects that he put out were on indies. Mm-hmm. Now he's on a major, so now he has a lot more money, so you know the production can be, you know, more like spread out. When I listened to this project, I was like, all right, this sounds like it could be the soundtrack to like a Spike Lee joint. And
yeah, that jazz influence.
Yeah, the jazz influence and everything like that. And I was like, wow, like this is really cool. And yeah, like I just listened to it, and like I guess like I didn't have like a solid like stance on it. And like you guys will see what I mean when we come to the verdict at the end. But like I just like listened to the project, and then even like one night when I went to bed, I listened to it like while laying down, because sometimes I do that. And it's just like it's a very smooth, easy listen. It's not hard to like listen to or anything like that. And apparently this is supposed to be like a conceptual album because it's about the human race, quote unquote. Yeah. You get it? Humans racing. Then the whole theme with the F-150 Formula 150 racing. Yeah.
I thought that was a really smooth concept. You know, I think with that concept and with concept albums, when people introduce their albums as concept albums, at least for me, I think sometimes it can kind of make you be so narrow-minded and just focus on what they're trying to tell you instead of just like letting in other opportunities for different stories. So like when you get the idea that it's a concept album off the rip, you know, it can kind of be a detriment to like how you listen to it, in my opinion. So like I like that before the album came out, he shared that it was a concept album, but he didn't really get into like the layers of what he meant.
Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah, you didn't like that he did that?
I like to I tell me.
I don't like to be told. So I can see why you would want to be told, because then you can listen with more like with more intent. Like you can get the story off the rip. Mm-hmm. But then if you don't tell me, I can kind of form my own story and see if that's what you mean when I see the interviews later in the shit. Because if you take it back to like Kendrick, right? Like Good Kid, Mad City, he didn't really tell you what kind of story that was when it came out.
The name, but see, I'll push back. Yeah, it was kind of like pushed out. It was kind of like obvious. Damn, I'll say, kind of didn't tell you that.
Yeah,
like the name was just Damn, you know. But like we by the time we got Damn, we knew that Kendrick makes conceptual albums. Mm-hmm. But you know, I'm just one of those guys who I like conceptual albums. Like I even like a Logic album because of that.
Which Logic album? Oh, the what's the
Bobby Torino?
Yes,
Yeah,
where he's on the
spaceship.
spaceship.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that project because of that reason.
That's a good project.
You know, just tell me. So then, like, I don't walk away saying what the fuck, because sometimes some artists are kind of like out there, bro.
Yeah,
They spacey. I'm not a spacey dude, so very level headed. So sometimes things go over my head.
I feel that. So the project is 22 songs. At any point while listening, did you feel like it was like too long?
Yeah, I did. Even though the tracks are short,
Yeah.
like they're not long tracks, but like I kind of like did get fatigued listening to this project because there really wasn't like a change up until the Saucy Santana song.
Yeah. The Saucy Santana, there's a few moments in this where I feel like he's trying to appease that trap crowd. So like the Santana song, the song with NLE Choppa, Salty, which is really good. Um, and then you got some Afrobeats influence on here with Elmina with Tay Iwar. That one is really good. He got that track that he got with Rich the Kid, which was actually a single. Be on top, be on top. That shit is like the bop to that is crazy. Even the video. So I think he tries to appease different people because he knows what's like current. But then he worked into like doing shit that he liked too. So I think it gave it a good balance. Is there any like standouts on here for you?
Mm, well, I like how like Pit Stop flows into Thug Tier.
Yeah,
Like they like perfectly, like off,
with that trail.
yeah, like
Yeah.
off rip, right? Obviously Pinot Noir. I like what they did with the juvenile flip on Paper Chaser.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really dope. Georgetown, I wanted to be a longer song.
I did too, actually. I think I wrote that down too. I wanted Georgetown to be longer. What about
And Rabbit Stew.
yeah,
The beat switch on Rabbit Stew was really
it's
good, man.
crazy.
Yeah.
That beat switch is crazy. I think I wrote that down too. Um what did I write here? Oh yeah, like yeah, he had some vocal flex on there. I'd rather love you on a low than love you when the whole world knows. Instrumental build up was crazy. Um oh, Middle Passage. So you've heard Snoop tell this story before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's told the story a few times. I think the way that he used it on this album, and for the listeners, I'm talking about Snoop telling the story about how him and his wife were like really getting into an argument back then, or arguing a lot back in the day, and she was still his girlfriend at the time, and Tupac is the one that told him like, "Yo, fuck what they talking about," because his friends was telling him like, "Yo, leave that girl, whatever," and Tupac was like, "Yo, fuck what they talking about, marry that girl, like she loves you, she's loyal, blah blah blah." So he ended up marrying her, and then they're still together to this day.
Right.
And then
Boss
he
Lady.
used that, yeah, boss lady, and then he used that to transition into the next song, which is "Still Your Man," which uses the Carl Thomas, right?
Yeah. Call Time. I
Yeah,
wish I never met her.
yeah. He uses that, and it's so fucking smooth because like on this album, the way that IDK kind of flows into his singing pocket is like it's not overbearing, it's not too much. It's like just what the track needs, in my opinion. Was that a standout for you?
It was cool that he did that. I was hoping that it was a Snoop like feature, and I was like,
And
oh,
yeah, he just used Snoop for that
yeah.
story.
And that was cool to Snoop to clear that for him and everything like that. I also thought it was funny because it's just like, damn, like I'm pretty sure his wife remember all the homies that said fuck her.
Oh yeah, I wonder if those homies still around.
Probably not.
Yeah, she probably made that call like, "Yo, nah."
Yeah,
And that's she boss lady for a reason.
yeah, exactly.
Elsewhere on this album, you got Tella Kalur, which is track 14. The flow on this is incredible. He touches a little bit on his story, and if you listen to IDK up until this point, you're familiar with his story a little, where he went to jail. His mom passed away up until she was a single mother up until a certain point. No, sorry. So his mom passed away. He never met his dad. His mom passed away. She died of AIDS, and which she contracted from his stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't meet his dad until his mom died when he was 16.
Mm-hmm.
So he talks about that a little bit on this album. And I think it's one of those really heartbreaking stories, and it's really unfortunate. It's just something that I guess it's a really unique story because I've never heard no shit like that. Like I've never heard not like we've heard your typical rap stories, right? Like they don't
Oh, in rap,
tragic,
I was
yeah,
about to say I've heard stories like that,
yeah, and
but I've
rap.
never in like from like a rapper.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure like they maybe it didn't happen directly to those rappers, but like in their communities and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But for him to experience that and then like have to like I wonder how hard it is for him to tell that story over and over again. Because once you tell it,
mhm,
like when they send out the pressers and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure he has to tell that story over and over again. And it's obviously not easy.
yeah.
So something like that for me, like I'll be like, damn, like do I want to tell
This story.
his story? Because I'm gonna have to tell the story and then maybe possibly get insensitive questions.
Hmm.
You know, so I don't know, like that for him to do that, like I'm like, damn, like he's probably numb to it by now, but like that's something I would hold close to the chest.
I would think it's probably therapeutic for him to like to share it at this point, you know.
Hmm.
But performing it must be a whole nother beast. And there's certain artists that have like really unique stories, not nearly as tragic, but just like unique stories, and they wait until like later on in their careers to even share it.
Yeah.
Like what's a rapper story? Like Kendrick on Damn, when he talks about I think it's Duckworth, right?
When you talking about his dad?
Where he talks about how he almost got shot, but then
Okay, yes,
yeah,
that
yeah,
is the
yeah,
story.
right. And waiting till your third album.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not a skilled rapper, but like that's some shit that I would have put like on my first mixtape. But waiting till your third album to even share some shit like that is insane. Because
Yeah,
you can tell.
Kendrick got shit like in the tuck.
Yeah,
I feel like Kendrick probably like was addicted to crack at one point, and like he's gonna tell us about it sooner or later. Like he just be coming like telling us shit. Like we just be
like, oh
like,
yeah, by
what?
the way, yeah,
Like by the way, I was addicted to crack when I was 19, like,
yeah,
and I beat it.
yeah. Remember how big of a deal it was that that 50 revealed that his mom was a lesbian?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like a big deal because 50 blew up in '03, but it wasn't until like '05 we heard that story.
right. Yeah,
Um,
and
but
people
yeah,
still saying Supreme is your real dad.
I don't think I've heard that.
You never heard that story?
Nah, that's
It
crazy.
started after the Get Rich or Die Trying movie.
Um,
But yeah, it's insinuated that Supreme is his real father, and like people still talk about it to this day, because like every like where they live at in Queens, everybody knows everybody. So they're
mhm.
like, yo, like, all right, your mom was outside, but like she wasn't that outside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's crazy.
So like, there's some people that say that like 50 Cent is Supreme's son, but 50 Cent like says that like he knows who his father is. They just
Mhm.
didn't have a relationship, but like nah, a lot of people feel that way.
That's
That
crazy.
and that's why 50's hatred for him is so deep.
Yeah, he won't let up. He won't let up off that. I get it.
Oh yeah, and his son.
And
He
it's
hates his own son.
oh
So
yeah, yeah. He hate yeah.
well, no, let me take that back. He doesn't hate his own son. He just looks at it like you a man now, so you on your own, so you got to handle shit like
He
in a
said
man's
some pretty
world.
heartless shit to him though online. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know how they could ever.
they'll fix it, man. 50 talks like that to everybody.
I hope they do. Um, Elsewhere on this project, we have we have a Benny the Butcher feature. Which is
Yes, which was a
really
surprise
good. Yeah, because this is not the type of bag that we hear Benny in
at
ever.
all. And it's funny because I went and I didn't look at the track list. I just listened to it. And so like when you sent the link, I just started listening to it then. And I was like, oh shit, the
Yeah,
butcher came.
yeah,
The butcher coming.
yeah.
And
And none
he
of that
showed up.
energy. Yeah, he didn't have
Pause.
none of that. He didn't have none of that
Pause,
energy on
pause,
there.
pause, pause. The butcher came. Pause. Got
Yeah,
it.
come in, nigga. But it was a solid song. And then that one leads into Superwoman, which features Music Soul Child. Now, Superwoman is one of my favorite Stevie Wonder songs. So when I was listening to this for the first time, I was like, is this nigga just redoing a Stevie Wonder? So I had to go look like, yo, he really did this. And I don't hate it. I actually like it. He did a cover of this Stevie Wonder song of the same name, and did it justice. Like I actually fuck with it. And Music Soul Child showed up too. And then we go into Freetown. Freetown is the closing of this project.
You know what Freetown is?
What's Freetown?
Freetown is in Is it Liberia? No, not Liberia. Is it? I think it's Sierra Leone.
Hmm.
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. It's the capital of Sierra Leone.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So
that.
I learned. All right. So I got a story, guys. So remember Dakin from Levi's?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So we had a coworker. His name was Dakin. He's from Sierra Leone. So when I first met him, he looked at me and he was like, "Dude," he was like, "I feel like I know you," and I was like, "Oh, okay." All right. And he was like, well, no, let me explain to you why. And I was like, why? He was like, because in Sierra Leone, there's a lot of, there's a place called Freetown
Hmm.
where when a lot of slaves went back to there's a group of people that went back to Africa, and when they went back to Africa, they moved to Freetown because like they were free, because like they were taken from Sierra Leone and brought over here, and some actually made it back.
Hmm.
And he said that a lot of them, like he was like my facial features. He said in Africa, you can look at someone through their facial features and tell where they might be from. Like you can be like, oh, this person's from Ghana, this person's from Sierra Leone,
Hmm.
this person, so he told me that, and I was like, "Yo," I was like, I never knew that story." He was like, "Yes." He said, "Like, there's people that actually made it back." He was like, "There's some people that there's certain slave owners like after certain people worked off whatever they had to work off, whatever like that, like early, like just let them go back."
Hmm.
And there are some that went back to Sierra Leone, and that's like how I don't know if the capital city had a different name or something like that, but yeah, that's why it's called Freetown.
Interesting.
And it was just like a really cool story. So when I listened to it, I was like, okay, so this is instrumental.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, maybe this is like what it sounds or just trying to give you a feeling of the sound or whatever like that. But it always intrigued me because it's like I did my 23andMe and I do have I'm mainly Nigerian, like Nigerian as fuck, but I do have some Sierra Leone, like in here somewhere. I'm sorry, Reza. I don't know. You don't know what's weird? So my mom has Cameroonian lineage
Hmm.
in her 23andMe, but I don't.
That's interesting. That's crazy. How many? You know what percentage?
I gotta look at it again. Like
Hmm.
my mom, and I was like, how does that work? Like, how does that? And it was like, sometimes you get certain bars off the DNA. Like it's a combination of
That's
shit. But it's like, yeah, like my mom, like so and I would assume it's from my mom's father's side.
hmm.
Versus like I'm like because I'm like nah my mom's mother's side like nah they Nigerian as fuck like South Carolina but yeah nah it was pretty interesting to me to like him say that though he was like this part of my face right here is like a very like prominent facial feature in Sierra Leone.
And for him to point that out, like I feel like I know you. That's crazy.
Yeah, like he did it like in his own way. I was just like, all right, don't be weird, bro. Like he's like, what we doing here? Yeah. Yeah. And he definitely did talk like the
Yeah,
fucking crocodile
yeah,
hunter.
he did. He
Yeah.
did. He did. He did.
Yeah.
I hope he's good, man. I haven't spoken to him in a
I'm gonna
while.
reach out to Dakin. Dakin was solid,
Yeah,
man.
he was a cool dude. Um. Okay, so overall, we have picked out some highlights on here. Are there any low points on here for you?
No, this is not low points, but I'll explain it in my verdict.
Okay, we can get to the verdict if you like.
All right. So I give it a 3 out of 5 waffles. The album is very long,
Hmm.
longer than it needs to be.
Hmm.
One, and two, I didn't really learn much about him
Okay.
that I didn't already know when I thought he was just JIDK.
Yeah.
I didn't obvious musically, like the production
Hmm.
grew a lot.
Hmm.
But the content, I didn't really get much. And maybe he's saving that for another project. Maybe because this was his first major project,
Hmm.
he was just putting it out there. But that's why I'm like, all right, cool. Like this is a good like it's far from bad.
Yeah.
It's nowhere in there. But I was like, all right, this is a good album. This is just like it's a good listen. I don't feel like if I told anybody to listen to this, they would say it sucks.
Right.
I,
Right.
I felt confident suggesting this album to other people.
Hmm.
It just wasn't something that like I was like crazy about.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. I think for me, I will give this a 3.5 out of 5. I really like it a lot and the growth of JID as a person. If anyone needed an introduction to him as an artist, I would probably suggest you see for yourself because it's more of a well-rounded project. That one came right before this one, and I want to say 2021. But from this project, I will kind of echo what you said. Like, you don't learn much about him, but the sweet spot is, um, if you listen to him as an artist before this, then you kind of already know a bulk of his story. I think this kind of just shows his range as a creative, his range as a producer, as a storyteller. Like, you get a lot of that here, with also like really good bops and and a great concept album, like, to say the least. I think I'm interested to see what he comes out with next.
I love the merch from this shoot.
Yeah, he came out with some dope merch for this. And also, like, he came out with a project after no, the one that he came out before this was Simple with K Tronada, and I've talked about that before. That was right before I honestly never mind, but it was a dance project. It was maybe like 8 songs, straight to the point, and it was solid. And I like when he does little pockets like that. Like, he'll come out with something super creative and then kind of just move on from it and get into something else.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, he's an exciting artist.
He is exciting. That's another thing. Seeing him live, and I'm pretty sure seeing him perform these songs live will give you a different feeling than listening to it. So ladies and gentlemen, most times I listen to music for this show. So I just recently started like listening to albums on my own just cause, and I've been having a really good fucking time, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm kind of like, rediscovering some things about myself. So I just wanted to say that. I just want to let y'all know, just give y'all an update. Before, I was only listening to the music that we had to listen to for these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started listening to music on my own, just cause.
Yeah.
Just listening to albums and shit like that. And
me knowing that
shit.
about him, I would say I kind of use that as a cheat code when we have projects that, like, I can't just recommend an album to Taurian just to listen to off just cause. So if I want to do the album, or I want him to just listen to it, I'm gonna say, all right, we're gonna do this for the show.
Should have never told me that.
And that's how I get it. That's how we get a level playing field here. But
start saying no.
I will recommend that you guys listen to this project though. It's a really solid effort from IDK. He's already laid a lot out there, and it's technically his 10th project, but it's his 4th album. But it's a good listen. It's long, but you won't.
Hey, yo.
You got that one. It's a long project, but it won't really feel like it's a long project because all the songs are so weaved in together.
Cameron and Mace have ruined us.
All the songs are so weaved in together that it just feels like a very solid, like, intertwined project. So I recommend it. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
And we're out of here.
Catch you next time. Dun dun.